Hello, YouTubers! Welcome back to Yorkshireman66. I'm Mark, your host, and hopefully the one who's going to entertain you. Now, before I start, this is another episode of Do You Believe in the Unbelievable? Or like some people want to call it, Do You Believe in the Unexplained? But this is the series where I put my opinion on this kind of I tell you something, and then hopefully you're gonna come along and do a VR to it and put your two penny thing basically. This one was asked from by a subscriber. What I am gonna say is that I've done all the research, I've got notes, and I will be referring to them notes. So if you see me pick up something on my phone, I will be referring to my research and things like that. So this is another episode of Do You Believe in the Unbelievable? And this episode is Parallel Dimensions. So there you go. Hopefully this may blow your mind. I don't know if it will or not, but you never know. Right, so as most people will know, showing parallel dimensions, a universe as so this is it. Parallel universe, also known as an alternative universe or an alternative reality. It's hypothetically self-contained plane of existence coexisting with one's own sum of potential or parallel universe that constitute reality. It's often called the multiverse. You'd have heard of the multiverse and things like that. Consider reality and called the multiverse. While the three terms are generally synonymous and can be used interchangeably, in most cases there is sometimes an additional connotation implied with the term alternate universe that implies that reality a variant of our own. Some overlap, some with similar named alternate history. The term parallel universe is more general without implying a relationship or lack of relationship with our own universe. Their very laws of nature and different, for example, on which there are no laws of motion would generally count as a parallel unit, but not an alternative reality and a concept between both fantasy world and Earth. So, that's what, in general terms and scientific, what they call a parallel universe. Now, there's a lot of people out there, and in some cases, I understand it because there's a lot of people, parallel dimensions. Well, can you have dimensional travel? Could you be able to travel from one to other? Yes, of course you would. I mean, in the spiritual world and things like that, I mean, I'm a paranormal investigator and things like that, and we believe, a lot of parallel investigators believe that there is a portal. What spirits come through, and they come through from another dimension into our own dimension, into our reality, and things like that. That's how they explain a lot of the werewolf existences. If it's supernatural, then it's coming through a portal, and things like that. But there can be a portal for good, and there could be a portal for evil, you see, and things like that. There is places around England where people honestly believe that there is interdimensional travel and things like that. So yeah, you know what I mean. It gets a bit out there, if you know what I mean. But is there another? Is there a parallel dimension basically? Well, at the moment, that hasn't been proved. It's non-scientific. It's science fiction at the moment. It is not proved. There is an argument that. Now, I've seen this on a documentary, so I'm only saying. I can't remember the documentary what I saw, but I saw this on a documentary a long, long time ago, actually. I think they might be repeating it on on telly, I don't know. And this one was saying that our past and our present and our future is it exists all together, all in one. It's there. You know what I mean? So our past is there, our present and our future exist in one. Now I don't know if that's true or not, but let's say it could be. We know about the present because we live in the present and things like that. And the future, we are slowly moving towards that future. The past, we can't go back to our past because we can't travel that. We can't do that at all. But some people think, that that could be parallel. Also, there's a lot of arguments saying that we see in we know there's 3 dimensions, but it's also being said there could be 4. There could be a 4 dimension, but it's just that we haven't elevated up to that. We can't see it basically, but they say there's 4 dimensions, and we are capable. Our brain is capable of seeing that, if you know what I mean. So yeah, so that could be there as well. So yeah, you got your dimensions as well. There could be a 4 dimension, and a parallel existence. People always thought, is there a parallel Earth? It's been well done through science fiction movies and series, but it's not real. At the moment, no. Parallel dimension is it's just science fiction at the moment, but where in supernatural terms, like for people like me and people who do believe in life after, in people when they die, they pass over, and life after death, we do believe that there is a portal, or we call it a portal, where spirits come through into our reality life, and that portal could be anything in your room. It could be a mirror, it could be a wall, it could be a door. You just don't know because you don't see it, and things like that. But also, there is reports. Me and my mate have experienced this. Now, Kevin, I remember it. And that someone is watching. I hope he does remember it. But yeah, we were going to York and we were coming down past railway station and past the keep, and we saw what we saw was a Viking and an English soldier having a sword fight, and we saw it. We both saw the same thing, but when we went back, it had gone. There was nothing there, and someone says, "Are you all right?" I said, "I swear blind, I saw something there." Nah, it's your figment of imagination. When I mentioned it to somebody who understands, he says, "Ah." I says, "What you mean? Ah." I says, "You've seen a fragment at past, both of you." I says, "So we haven't seen things?" He says, "No. Yeah, 2 people. Yeah, I mean," he says, "No, you're backing each other up. You saw what you saw. What a sword fight." Says, "Yeah. But the wall would in modern type." Says, "Yeah. And no one else saw it but only you and your mate." I says, "Yeah." He says, "That is, it's some kind." I said, "I thought it were a recreation." I said, "All right." And it wasn't. It wasn't a recreation. It was 2. We call them spirits, but people call them ghosts. It was 2 ghosts fighting, but in modern times. If you know what I mean, in their period, but in our, it had projected onto us. And me and Kev saw that, and it was unbelievable. We just couldn't understand, what? You know what I mean? So, that experience, that's why I do believe also in life after death and things like that. And, there's got to be something to it, hasn't there? But this is the other thing as well. There has been reports. Now, this comes from down London. Now, I don't know, you might have seen it on telly. This is where I got my research from, and I found it on online as well. Whereas people have gone like down a side street in London, and suddenly they have been transported back in time to a Victorian period. Or in some cases, they've been transported to the, where horse and cats, no motor car. But they've been able to walk around in that particular time period in modern day clothing. And that has been reported, and that's happened down London, and it's happened all over the UK. I mean, it's happened to me and Kevin, things like that. So, yeah, I mean, there's something to it. Parallel dimensions. There's got to be. There is something to it, but we don't know what it is yet. At the moment, they say it's it's science fiction. It's not real, but well, people have experienced. Like I said, people have experienced walking down a side street. I know it sounds like Good Night Sweetheart, where Gary Spanner walking down a side street and ended up in World War Two, but I'm not getting it from there. That's a comedy. That doesn't really happen. But this particular one, it was on a programme where they were being interviewed about it, because the programme was on about, dimensional travel and things like that. And, a woman walked down a side street, just a normal side street, and it was pretty busy. She walked down there and she was transported back into a early Victorian period, because it were like horse and cart. There were no cars. Like an early Victorian period, or just before the Victorian period, and it was there. She was able to walk around and things like that, and and this particular woman and these particular witnesses, it's happened on multiple occasions as well. It didn't only happen once; it's happened a couple of times. So, I mean, so that's your multi-parallel dimension, but is it fair to say that it's true? I don't know. All I know is in paranormal terms, there is another dimension. But we can't see it until we pass. Basically, we've got to die before we can get to it. You know what I mean? But if you were able to see, or if you were able to travel into a parallel dimension, really, would you want to do it? You know what I mean? I know people going, "Oh yeah, I'll do it." Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, for some of us, the idea of a parallel universe spark our wildest dreams. If there are other universes where certain events had different outcomes, where just one crucial decision went a different way, perhaps there could be some way to access them, and perhaps particle fields or even people could be transported from one to the other, enabling us to live in a universe that is better in some ways than our own. These ideas have threshold theoretical physics, as well as the outcomes from quantum mechanics, as well as ideas of the multiverse. But do they have anything to do with observable, measurable reality? Recently, claim has surfaced asserting we found evidence for a parallel universe, and Jordan Colby Cox wants to know what it means. Well, have we or haven't we? I don't know. I mean, you can't escape your past. I mean, if there was a parallel universe, and we could travel in between it, I mean, so what would we do? Leave this universe and go into our alternate and wreck that, and then continue? It'll be never ending, won't it? You know what I mean? But at the moment, there is no, there is no evidence. But there could be evidence of a fourth dimension, like I say. We see in 3 dimensions, but our brain is able to see in other ways, like 4 dimension and things like that. But there could be a fourth. We know about the 3 dimension, but there could be a fourth dimension. Now, that sounds interesting as well. It really does. But this particular talk about parallel universe, do they exist? Not yet. I don't think they do. But some people would argue it, saying, "Oh yeah, well there is." Yeah, there is with like spiritual world and things like that, where you can hear, people, spirits from the spirit world. That's a dimension. We all know that. But only people who've experienced that will only believe that. You know what I mean? Other people out there who haven't experienced that yet, they'll be, oh, cock and bull. That's your opinion. But at the end of the day, parallel universes, do they exist? Is there a parallel dimension or parallel universe or the multiverse? Is it there? No. There's no science. There's no science to back it up. Even NASA agree with this one. At the moment, it doesn't exist. There's no proof at all. It's just talk at the moment. But how do you go about proving if there's a parallel universe? It's going to be out. But no, it's just talk, and it's just something what's come out of science fiction as well. Science fiction TV series and films and things like that. One of the most famous science fiction TV series is what really examine a parallel universe is the science fiction program called Sliders. He opens up a portal and they go sliding into it, and it's multiple things in multiple universes. You know what I mean? So, so to me, as we are in reality, parallel dimensions, they don't exist. But doesn't mean to say that they're not there. It's just that we can't see them. We don't know if they're there or not. There's argument to say around the country, Scotland, Wales, and England, that there is portals what go to other worlds, other universes and things like that. Well, I haven't come across them at the moment. Like I said, the closest I've come to something like that is when I were at York and I saw some, sword fight between a Viking and us. Yeah, you know what I mean? And an Englishman, is it a Saxon or whatever? Sword fighting. And we were in Ken, I come down and I parked car. I was only about 2 minutes away. And when we come back, they're gone. You know what I mean? So there is that to consider. And then the other one to consider is people are walking around London in busy time and walking into certain places, and they're suddenly transported back in time to like the Victorian period or just before the Victorian period, and it's completely different clothing. And I think there were one eyewitnesses who said that this had happened, and they were looking at her and thinking, ooh, you're different because of the clothing and things like that. It's modern day clothing. You know what I mean? But when she's walked out of the alley, she's come back to us. That is a kind of parallel dimension. It's a kind of time travel, really. You know what I mean? But that's happened, and that's on a TV. That's on a TV documentary as well. So it's out there. But parallel, I'll just leave you with this: a parallel universe is not yet proven. You know what I mean? I hope one day it is. You know what I mean? Parallel dimension. It'd be good to intertravel between the two. You know what I mean? Parallel, universe traveling. Intertravel. It will be interesting and things like that. But it is. How can I put it? It is so different. But at the moment, the best scientist I've read today is Brian Cox, and he's basically saying it's science fiction. The multiverse, people, scientists are looking into it. Basically, that's what he's basically saying. So multiverse is the multiverse. We'll always be wondering if there is a parallel universe. Some say there is, some say there isn't, but there's no proof at this moment in time. And that, so that is that. That is. I mean, I can't. There's no more to elaborate on that or to say on that. But all I can say is it is an interesting subject. It's a fascinating subject, and that it's a subject what really well I run into a brick wall with it, really, because yeah, I mean, there's people out there who believe that there is, and like I say, people believe that there are portals around England where you can go from one universe to another. It might be to another world. I don't know. This could exist. It may or may not exist. I haven't come across it yet. As soon as I do, I'll let you know, and I'll do a film of it. But not taking the mickey out like that. Uh, to be serious, there is some people who have took this very seriously, and that Professor Brian Cox has taken this very seriously as well. But at the moment, is there another you out there in the parallel universe? We're talking doppelgangers and things like that. Is there another twin? Is there another me out there and I don't know about it? Well, if there is, I don't want to know. You know what I mean? But yeah, is there another you out there in the parallel? Ethan Siegel starts with a bang. One of the most exciting topics to speculate about is the idea of our reality and our universe, the way it is and the way we experience it might not be the only version of events out there. Perhaps there are other universes, perhaps even with different versions of ourselves, different histories, and alternative outcomes than our own. When it comes to physics, it's one of the most exciting probabilities of all, but it's far from certainly. Here's what the science actually says about this, could be true or not. The universe, as far as the most powerful telescopes can see, even in theory, is vast and huge and massive, including protons and neutrons. It contains some 10 to 90 particles clumped and clustered together into hundreds of billions to trillions of galaxies. Each one of those galaxies comes with around a trillion stars inside an average, and they strewn across the cosmos in a sphere some 92 billion light years in diameter from our perspective. But despite what our intuition might tell us, that doesn't mean we are at the centre of a finite universe. In fact, the evidence indicates something quite to the contrary. So it's quite to the contrary. The reasons for the universe appears infinite is in size to us. The reasons we can't see anything that's more than a specific distance away isn't because of the universe. It's actually finite inside, but is rather because the universe has only existed in its present state for a finite amount of time. If you learn nothing else about the Big Bang, it should be this: the universe was not constant in space or time, but rather has evolved from a more uniform, hotter, denser state to a clumpier, cooler and more diffuse state today. Well, this has given us a rich universe rippling with many generations of stars and ultra cold backgrounds of leftover radiation galaxies expanding away from us ever more rapidly the more distance they are, with a limit to how far back we can see. That limit is set by the distance that light has had ability to travel since the instant of the Big Bang, but this is no way means that there isn't more universe out there beyond the portions that's accessible to us. In fact, from both observational and theoretical points of view, we have every reason to believe there are plenty of more, and perhaps even infinitely more. Observationally, we can measure a few different interesting quantities, including the spectral curvature of the universe, how smooth and uniform it is in both temperature and density, and how it's evolved over time. That's a mouthful. So yeah, so it has evolved over time. And there's the graph. It has evolved over time. It really has. It's gone that way. What we find in that a universe is most constant with being especially flat with being a uniform over a volume that much greater than the volume of the piece of the universe observably used, and therefore probably containing more universe that's very similar to our own from hundreds of billions of light years in all directions and beyond what we can see. But theoretically, what we learn is even more tantalizing. You see, and we can extrapolate the Big Bang backwards to apparently a hot, dense, expanding state. What we find is that it didn't get infinitely hot and dense and early on, but rather that the above some energy and before some very early time there was a phase that preceded the Big Bang, and it set it up. The phase of a period of cosmological inflation describes a phase of the universe where rather than being full matter and radiation, the universe was filled with energy and inherent to space itself, a state that causes the universe to expand at an exponential rate. This means that rather than having the expansion rate shown as time goes on and having distant points recede from one another to ever slowing speeds, the expansion rate does not drop at all, and distant locations and time goes incredibly get twice as far away, then 4 times, 8 times, 16, 32, etc. So that's what that graph is showing. That's what that graph there is showing. So because of the expansion, it's not just exponentially but also incredibly a rapid doubling happens, and time scale of around to 35 seconds, meaning by time to 10 to 34 seconds has passed, the universe is around 1,000 times its initial size by time it's however past the universe is around times initial. You know, that is a lot. So we shall leave it there for now. So I'll leave it there. I hope that explains a lot. I've enjoyed doing this. I really have. And the person responsible for me doing this is a subscriber of mine. Now, I hope that explains it, Nate. I hope that really does explain it, mate. I really do. I really do. Because this is what I'm here to do, is hopefully to explain. Yes, it's gone on for a bit longer than usual, I think. But I think it's rather interesting. You know, having a parallel dimension, parallel dimensions of the multiverse, as people call it. Yeah, yeah. It's a dream, innit? You know what I mean? Where we could go from one to the other and backwards and forwards. So if we don't work out here, we can go, we'll be ever forever going round in a circle. But that's what we do at the moment. Life is a circle, isn't it? We're born, we live, we get married, have children, and we die. Life is a complete circle when you think about it. It's how we choose to live it and do it, and whatever we do. It's as simple as that, really. So, I hope you have enjoyed it, and if you have liked it, please give me a thumbs up. Please like, please subscribe if you're new. Hit the icon, hit that bell icon, and hit all. That will let you know when I'm uploading another video. But like I say, it's free to to subscribe to me. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm just here, hopefully, to that you might learn something new. You just don't know. And please share the video to other social media like Facebook and Twitter and things like that. I mean, you know where you can share to and things like that. So share to your friends and family and things like that. And please comment below so we can have a nice little discussion about it or whatever. I think it's an oddball. I think it's a good question. It really is. I couldn't really go, like I said, I couldn't really go into more detail. There's not a lot of research what I could do about this. There wasn't a hell of a lot more. Unless I dug out my old videos at Cosmos and started watching Carl Sagan again, and I didn't want to do that. Because he explains multiverse and things like that, but he goes into great detail. And that's a Cosmos, is that one. With Carl Sagan, one of the best scientists I know. Well, this is backed up by scientists from NASA in any case. They're always looking into it. I like to say, they're looking back into our universe. So it's not it's not flat. It's like it's like that. It's like a globe. Is our universe, and it's forever expanding. At one point, they thought it was shrinking, but it's expanding at a far faster rate. Well, you just said 33 seconds 1,000 times fast. Wow, it's expanding, isn't it? Rapidly, is that? So I hope you've enjoyed that. I've enjoyed making it. I enjoy bringing it to you, and I hope you've really liked it. So I'll catch you on the next video. Bye for now.